we have the president and the CEO of Stratabound Minerals. Stratabound is exploring for gold and copper in North America. Kim Tyler is their president and CEO, and Kim is a mining and exploration professional. He has over 40 years of management and executive experience in gold-based metals and industrial minerals with companies such as Vale, Rio Tinto, Royal Oak Mines, and Cameco. Kim's technical expertise, besides mineral exploration, includes mine operations management in both open pit and underground mining operations. He's a professional geoscientist. He's registered in both British Columbia and Ontario, and he's worked with both junior and major mining companies. Kim, how are you? Can we maybe flip on your video there?
Can you see me, everybody?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. How are you doing today, Kim?
I'm very good, Anthony. Nice sunny day here in Sudbury, where my hometown is. But thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Northern Miner, for the invite to speak today.
Excellent. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and love that you're tuning in from Sudbury. Last year we had people, yesterday we had people from everywhere, but no representation from Sudbury. And of course, Sudbury, one of the greatest mining jurisdictions in the world. So I'm always extra happy when someone's tuning in from Sudbury or presenting from Sudbury. Yeah. So with that, Kim, I will turn it over to you, and you can let us know what Stratabound is up to.
Well, I'm going to ask you if you can see that right now, and I'm going to.
We can. Yes.
Go to now I want to get. I always forget how to do this here. Get to the slideshow. There we go. There we go. Okay, so good. Everybody can see my slide here.
We can. Yep, you're good to go.
Very good. Thanks. And forward-looking statement. So Stratabound, and we were moving pretty fast here, and you made a comment about opportunities to buy. We've been moving very fast. We jumped into this company about 4 or 5 years ago. I've been in it, and it's turning it around. It was known to be a copper company. We've swung into gold, and the big news that we just released just last month is an update in a resource. First of all, a year ago, we acquired the Fremont project in California from California Gold Mining. A year ago, and just recently, just in August, we just published an updated resource estimate of 1.16 million ounces indicated and 2.02 million ounces inferred in a report where the document will be filed publicly in the next few days. But we jumped from 0 ounces to over 3 million ounces indicated and inferred in the space of a year, and the market hasn't noticed anything, and neither has the media, Anthony. We haven't seen us published anywhere. But anyway, that's the conditions we're living under right now. But we've got, besides that, we see a multi-million ounce potential. But that is a path to production. That's what we want to be. We wanted to be in that market cap that has the $50 to $100 million market cap. We're sitting around $6 to $8 million lately, and we see a huge growth potential. We also have 2 projects in Canada, which we've been working on up the last 5 years. We turned around initially with the Golden Culvert in Yukon, right next to Three Aces project, a 5,401 gram discovery in 2003, recently purchased by Seabridge. Seabridge is out there right now. They got a Class 4 permit. They're finally out there drilling, so it's been an exciting year. I would pay attention to that corner of the Yukon. It's a hot district scale area. Seabridge makes careful decisions in these things. We're right next to them. We were there a couple of years ago. So watch that. That's exciting, but it's early stage exploration. And our other project is the other one I really like, we'll talk about, is in McIntyre, Northern New Brunswick. I love things where we hear don't go looking in New Brunswick, don't go looking here, don't go looking in California. And I love those things. They make me get up in the morning because this area in Northern New Brunswick, to me, has all the hallmarks of another newfound gold for the right reasons. So we'll skip along here as we talk more about this property. So our plan is we see a high reevaluation potential. I'll be honest about you, when we made all these milestones over there, we've been derated rather than re-rated, and we expected to go up. That's the market. So we intend to accelerate. We're working on our PE and our baseline environmental work right now, initiating mine development over the next hopefully 3 or 4 years. Producing 100,000 ounces a year. That's our objective. That's where we want to go. And also on top of that, expand that exploration potential that we already have to multi-million ounces beyond that. We're going to consolidate our position in New Brunswick. We've done it. We're working in between, right there. We're flanked by Puma Exploration. If you follow them, they're getting really exciting results. We're right in between them. We're working hard. We'll show more about that. And the Golden Culvert property, another district scale property, again, a quiet area of the southeastern Yukon, we think is pretty exciting as well. This slide, I got to talk to nothing else. For those of you out there, as Anthony mentioned, looking for a bargain right now, well, our whole sector's a bargain. I'd say that the whole sector's down about 70% from where it was in mid-2020 when gold spiked up to $2,000 an ounce and fell back down again. So this chart shows you the gold price has been over time. And we've been making our milestones. And yeah, but where's the market? Where's the market, man? It's doing other things. And right now it's hand-wringing and and a lot of right now, fear is got the driver's wheel in the markets, capital markets, not greed at the moment. So that's fine. We're plucky. We're persistent. We've again, I've been in the game for 40 years. I've seen a lot of these downturns before, and we're continuing to chug along and manage our knitting very well. And you can see we went from 0 ounces in November 17, 2020, then acquired the Fremont in 21 in August, and a year later now we've got nearly just a little over 3 million ounces in the indicated and inferred. And what's the market done? Well, we've been punished, same as everybody else in the market for our good deeds. We're going to continue on, and you see on the right side, pay attention. The next milestone we hope to out by Q4 is our first PEA on the property. And this is a question. Why is the market treated? This could be a question for the Q&A later. I'll talk about it after if you want. Here's where we sit. We're sitting with US 6.9 million market cap. We look at peers if we just had Fremont in California, these are the peer groups. You see 160 million, 370 million, 65 million of peer groups in that area. If that were just it alone, we're at 7 million compared to that. If we only had our project in Yukon, we're looking at Snowline Gold, an excellent company. They got lots of, they're a market darling, and they really excellent young bunch of guys doing excellent work down there. But they have a property just north of us, very similar. They're 175 million market cap, again against 7 million. And if we just had our New Brunswick property, well, look at these other guys. Newfoundland is hot right now, has been hot, but 17 million, 35 million, 44 million. These guys haven't got everything else that we got. So I think we're seriously undervalued, not just the sector, but us down below everybody else. Let's talk about Fremont. Why do we like it so much? 3,300 acres of private land in Mariposa County in California. It's private land. It's not Bureau of Land Management land. It's not Crown land. It's private land. It's a mine that was in operation in the 1850s, shortly after the California gold rush, and it operated for nearly 100 years, producing 126,000 ounces of gold at 8 grams per ton. It's one of these things I love. It's got infrastructure on board, shafts, 800 meters of workings underground. This is something that would today cost to input about $200 million of infrastructure exists right there. We have a highway through the property, Highway 49, we have an electrical substation. You can see it on the diagram down here. You can also note that we're in a very rural area. We're about 20 miles rather from the county seat, Mariposa. So we have no neighbors. Neighbors on either side of us is the Bureau of Land Management, and to the north. There's no neighbors of any consequence out there. There's a farmer to the south, a rancher rather, and we let his cattle range on our property. So yeah, we got water. That's the other thing, people. These are the key points. The boxes that we ticked off ourselves. Water. There's that underground workings are tremendous, and there's water running out of it. So we've got lots of groundwater, which belongs to us. Surface water in California belongs to the state, but groundwater is part of our assets that we have on the property. What do we got here? We got the Pine Tree Josephine. Here's the resource estimate we just completed. It only covers a kilometer out of 4 kilometers of strike. You can see some of these results. Chicken Gulch, very thinly, 2 sections drilled over a couple of kilometers. Yet everywhere you drill outside of the Pine Tree Josephine, you don't get any duds. You're going to get gold every time. So it's compelling to think what more you could have. You got nearly 3 million ounces here. What's the rest of this going to show you? Here's the underground workings and the drilling that shows. Well, that next slide, we just recently published this slide lately, which is soil sampling work. It's not commonly done down in the States. In fact, gold exploration isn't done and mining isn't done much in California. I can speak to that later. And that's also one of the things that gets me up in the morning, the opportunity. There's a tremendous amount of wealth lying under Mariposa County, and the former mother lode is, to me, the Abitibi of Western USA. And I worked in the Abitibi a lot. I was up there 15 years working in Timmins and gold mines. But this soil result that came out, we just published recently, these purple outlines are 300 parts per billion. That's 0.3 grams per ton. That's heap leach grade sitting on surface. This is our main resource, our 3 million ounces sitting here. A bit of drilling here, a bit of drilling down here, but what's going on in between here? Is it all connected? Well, we're going to find out, and that's the opportunity we said for expanding on 3 million ounces. How many multiples of that do we hope to find? Now I'm going to jump off of that and talk about my other favorite topic, why I like New Brunswick. We had had initially had a legacy property in New Brunswick, and I jumped the company into original. It's a copper cobalt property. It's for sale right now. It's nice. It's 2 million tons. It's got copper and cobalt. So it's attractive for a battery company, but that's not what we're doing. This slide here, any maritime East Coast operator should have this on their website. But this is the Iapetus suture. 400 million years ago, Africa and Asia and Europe collided with North America and Greenland and buckled all the rocks in between. That's called an orogeny. That means orogenic, and that's orogenic deposits. So all along that black belt are gold deposits, high-grade ones, Dalradian, Newfound Gold, another darling for the last couple of years. $1 billion market cap company that didn't exist a couple of years ago. It's Eric Sprott's all over it, and everybody's in it too. This gold's been around for 400 million years. And again, I love the Maritimes. The fact that everybody said it's been picked. My colleagues would say for years ago it's been picked over. There's nothing more to be found. Well, Hopebrook operated. Maritime Gold is doing well. My good buddy Garrett McDonald's out there working out there as well. And then you see that St. Barbara picked up for over $500 million the Atlantic Gold property down through. But you find this belt which carries up through. Who's looking in northern New Brunswick? Well, Puma is. They published 50 meters of 5.5 grams in September a while back, and they got shorted 17%. Again, that's that nutty thing you see of that slide I showed, what the market's been doing to the juniors and pulling money out and selling on any kind of news. If you follow that line all the way around, you'll see Ridgeway and Hale. They've been going for quite a while. It's Oceana Gold's operating those. But that's a good belt to be exploring for gold. It's a pretty obvious one, and geologists should be following it. Well, we're up there too, and we're flanked by Puma. You can see their big discovery here. They're in brown, and we're in purple and blue in the center. This is our original block of ground that we picked up. It's very early stage. I like the work Puma's been doing. They've been stripping and drilling. We're not there yet. We got a couple of drill holes on our target area, but we've really only got this area we know nothing about. And yet these structures that carry the gold run right through. On the far side, you see the other Puma property, John Paul and Portage, 17 grams, 10 grams, 14 grams, 40 grams, 25. I can read them off here, 26. Link zone, 241 grams. And this is a new one up in the corner, Canada Metals. This is a junior that nobody knows anything about. They're prospectors. They just got listed on the CSV in the last year, and they got 455 grams, 85. I mean, nobody knows about this. And what about all this material in between? Well, this is district scale again. Its ground is about, I think, 40, 60 kilometers, something in that range. Highway right through it. So really good potential here. And finally, I know 10 minutes goes awfully fast in these talks, but here's where we started it all. In this diagram here, you can see the BC border. Robert Campbell Highway, you spin off it on the Cantung Mine Road. Cantung's here, we're right on it. 3 Aces project, 5,400 gram discovery, super high grade showing up in here. They're drilling right now to beat the band. We're right next to them. We got similar stuff, and we focused in the last 4 years on this 1 kilometer section of a 24 kilometer property. Had a soil anomaly. This is all we knew when we picked up the property. We didn't know anything back here. Last year, we did all the soil sampling in 2021. And this year, we're going to be reporting results on following up. We've got soil anomalies very much the same as the main zone. The main zone had 90-some samples, up to 320 grams per ton that averaged 19 grams. It's in our press releases. Exciting project through here. So we think this is really exciting. I'm going to comment that are both this one and our New Brunswick one, we're open to option and joint venture. We think they're exciting projects. We really want to focus our attention to be an operator and get gold ounces coming out of Fremont as fast as we can. So quickly, where do we sit with our share structure? Share price, 5 cents, i.e. we were at 30 cents when we had no ounces, and now we're at 5 cents with 3 million ounces. Don't make any sense to me, but we can talk more about it later. Who owns us? Coast Capital Management owns 10%. Big shareholders, First Majestic Silver. That was they own the Jarrett Canyon mine. Jarrett Canyon was the big with the they made of Jarrett Canyon. Now they're at 8%, 7%, and management owns 12%. So retail is about 58%. And so on and so forth. Well financed, we got financed about $2 million in November 2021. Management and long-term owners 47%. And yet, the point is the market's yet to reckon. We haven't re-rated yet, and that's the market, and that's the opportunity, I would say. So I'm brought right to the end here. Thank you very much. I plugged this little bit in the end. I listened to Anthony earlier, and New World Orders, and those are stuff I like to talk about with my colleagues. But you know what? Gold has been a hard currency for 2,500 years, and every empire that's vanished before. Those coins, whatever they were, the Venetians or the Egyptians or whatever they might be, they got melted down and turned into other coins. The old story about an ounce of gold 100 years ago bought you a good suit. Well, today I can buy you 3 good suits or 5 good suits because I'm cheap. But gold is a holder of value no matter what. I mean, it's going to carry on. It's not electronic. It can't vanish out of an electronic account like crypto coin can. And you can't keep reprinting it like paper, and you can't do it. You can't do digital. You can't convert it yet from lead into gold yet. So it's still there with us, and I can think it's going to carry on for another 2,500 years. But thank you very much. I don't know how much time I did, but if I did it under 10 minutes,
right on time. We love executives like you, Kim, that keep it right on time. We got a couple minutes here for a few questions. We learned a lot, including that Kim Tyler does not wear Armani suits. If you do the calculation, you're not buying 3 Armani suits for $1,600. But good, we like prudent CEOs. That's a sign that you're being cautious with shareholders' money. Very good, Kim. Listen, Kim, I'd like to take it right to, do the elephant in the room, right? California. Not always, people don't think, when they think of mining friendly jurisdictions, they might think of Quebec. They don't think of California. But perception and reality aren't always perfectly converging. You're there, you're operating there. Tell us, what is the vibe in California around mining?
That's my favorite question, because that's kept everybody else away, and that's leaving the opportunities for us and Equinox. Equinox has got 2 gold mines operating right now, and they've been permitted. So I would say that California's had that tag for a long time, but I'd say the rest of the world has caught up to them, and in fact gone far further. I'm an Ontario boy. I love Ontario, but I've got friends that have worked on the Ring of Fire, but how many decades before that actually gets into production? And it's the big thing in California, as it is in the States. I have got experience working in Upper New York State with my good colleague Keith Boyle, who's on our team as our director of project management for Fremont. Is that you're dealing with the county in the States. You aren't dealing with the state or the province as we do in Canada, and you don't get a lot of that political stuff. So they're the lead agency. Yes, you got state regulations. I'd say California is as stringent as any other place to work. And yes, you've got the community to work with. And we are the foothills of California, and the mother lode have a lot of mining history. And we're encountering people whose family have worked in these mines and have gone and worked elsewhere in the States. But we are in the jurisdiction we're in. It's rural. It's a small community. It relies almost entirely on tourism, and how madly they've been hit with COVID first, and now with an economy. So we figure economically that's one thing. But the other thing I would touch on is that we are. The one thing before I retire is want to be involved in a mining operation with a team that really wants to integrate mining into the community and show that it's more than just mining and guys making money and leaving. You can integrate, like Sudbury, I talked about it. Sudbury is integrated everywhere. You've got Science North, you've got hospitals, you've got universities, struggling one, but nothing to do with the mining industry. But Sudbury itself is built on mining. And look at the community. I moved away when I was young and moved back in recent years. Still love it. It's a beautiful town. So these kind of things are demonstration of what we might want to do. But we think the permitting is no less stringent than elsewhere. We've got to go through the ropes, and we think we'll be successful. By the way, a lot of mining goes on in California. It just may not be gold. There's other things. The U.S. Borax has been going at it for a long time. So there's other things that go on, and lots of, and the rules for all the surface mining are the same for gold as it would be for anything else.
Excellent. And let's be clear. We had Doug Silver on yesterday. Permitting anywhere in the States is not easy. We have a story in the Northern Miner. I saw something earlier about now even the Ford Motor Company is lobbying the U.S. federal government to go easier on miners. So I think, and sometimes those are the ones that we need as an industry outside of our industry to be stepping up and saying, listen, you want an auto industry? Guess what? You need metal. Guess what? You better streamline this permitting process. So
it's really important
to get better.
It's really important that you make the distinguish between operations that are in Bureau of Land Management, like Crown land, versus private land. So we're on private land. That's a huge distinction. That's a huge advantage we have. We deal with the county. The county runs everything. It doesn't mean they're going to be light on us any more than anyone else, but that's different. We have core mining in California. They're struggling under Bureau of Land Management, and that's different rules that they have to follow, and that is tough, and that's federally regulated. But we're going to be managing county, state, and at the end will be the feds, but this is led at the county level. So that's one of the key things boxes we had to tick off. It had to be something like that. We don't want to be struggling with the feds on this one as much as any more than we need to.
Excellent. Kim, fantastic. Thank you for updating us and letting us know what's going on. Lots of big potential there. We wish you all the success going forward.
Thank you very much. Thanks all the listeners for listening in. Take care.
Cheers, Kim. Take care. Bye-bye.